there's this theory, a lot of people sustain it today, that the computers tomorrow won't need hard drives, you know, no, memory capacities, you know. Why? Because it's unstable, you can lose your information, something would happen.
It's heavy.
It's much easier in thinking on a model where all your information is stored in the cloud. Or right now we're talking about several clouds, you know, where you just put there the information and rescue it, you know, and call for it, but not have it, you know, carrying on your personal computer. There will be no need for this in the future. So things are, I mean, right now it's not about being or not being the cloud. It's more a matter of discussing if it's going to be a huge cloud,
yeah, right.
you know, one huge cloud, or several clouds according to something, you know, or the countries, or the subjects, or whatever.
The cloud to me is so big I can't pass it up to think about it in terms of like a religion or some sort of an order. Like during the Middle Ages when honor and loyalty and faith might have controlled an entire society. Why not the cloud? I mean, you know, the cloud is everywhere. It permeates, it determines you. You speak to it, you talk to it, you ask it things for favors. New religion.
Today on El País, the Spanish newspaper, you can find, right now Spain has crossed the line with other 5 countries before Spain in Europe. Right now, the average time on the net of a Spaniard is 13.5 hours a week. The time the Spanish spends in front of the internet, 13.6 hours per week. And the television is 13 hours. So they already passed, you know, the hump. So right now in Spain, the people see officially more internet than television. And it's the 5th country in Europe to do that
okay.
right now. Okay, so this is a clear tendency. I mean, clearly my kids today spend much more time in front of the internet than in front of...
I ask my students all the time about something I saw in the news, and I never get an answer because nobody watches the news anymore. I mean, they get their news from many sources all through the day, whereas I get mine from 4:30 to 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's it. I'm exaggerating.
Interactivity. Let's go to the final 2, okay? Interactivity. Freeing us from the limits of geographical and bodily spaces. Did I invent a word again in that phrase? No, it's okay.
Good.
Bodily? Yeah, it seems.
Yeah, bodily.
Bodily
works great.
Spaces. Okay? Second Life, podcast. I mean, there's all this virtual space going on around us, where suddenly it is more important, you know. This last gadget of the Facebook, the farms, the gay. Are you playing that game? No? There's a farm, there's farms, there's zoos, there's, take the microphone again. Again.
Close.
Can I speak now?
Yes.
Well, it's a little bit shameful for me, but I used to play Pet Society last year, and it took like, well, I started on vacations, and it took like 2 or 3 hours of my time daily, and it's absurd. I mean, it's shameful, but
no,
yes,
no, it's not shameful. It's
Talk.
real.
You're among friends. Keep talking.
Yeah, but
Confess.
that's just an example, and I know a lot of people. I had to close it because it was a waste of time, but I think that a lot of people, not just me, and that's just one application. I mean, there are 1,000 of applications, and I definitely think that it's a waste of time. Maybe Second Life is a different kind of thing, but those are like mini games, like video games, but in a worst way.
One of the, I mean, it's real. That's the important thing. I mean, it's happening, and sooner or later, we are all touched in some way. You know, we are moved from our normal circumstances, you know, routines, you know, suddenly doing all this stuff. I mean, I remember some years ago, my wife would tell me, you know, you're getting paid by answering emails, right? That is your job, to answer emails, you know? Yeah. And I mean, there was a point there. I mean, there are so many things that we're in our virtual spaces spending much more time of our lives than in our real reality, you know, to say it some way. So interaction is becoming, I have a lot of, you know, experiences where my students actually can interact in a much more mature way through the internet than face-to-face. And I've been recollecting stories over the last years, several of them, where one of you guys, you know, when I ask one of you guys, okay, say something, step in front, you know, talk about, you know, and don't have the skills to do that. But if I ask for interaction through the internet, wow! I mean, it's like almost schizophrenic, you know, almost a different kind of person, you know, when suddenly they go through the internet. So again, this is part of life right now. Okay, let's go to the last one, simulation. As Baudrillard would call it, hyper reality. Simulations are becoming a very important concept in this new media world. In very positive ways, but also in very scary ways. For example, all of us know about how the training of the air pilots are by simulators, you know, and this is like the first great example in modern society using simulations for real purposes, and I mean, you can't train a pilot in a real train, in a real, plane, because if you do so, you gotta have a lot of casualties, including, you know, the pilot, you know. So because of the characteristic, you know, of piloting, you know, they had to make and develop all these simulators, you know, that, oh, you're dead, sorry, you know, try it again, you know. And this at certain point it became, or is becoming, very useful, for example, in medicine. Yep. In practices, you know. Again, you can't practice in medicine, you know, because you kill people. You know, if you have a mistake, you kill people. So you have these machines, you know, simulators, where you can make an operation or a surgery or whatever, you know, and suddenly, you know, the guy is dead, you know, the monkey, or the, how do you call it? The
cadaver?
The puppet or whatever, you know, suddenly is dead, you know, because you didn't see that suddenly a vein or whatever exploded. Today, wars, for example, it is hard to say, but we have to recognize that wars in the world have a lot to do with the development of technology.